is everybody doing? It is Paul from Magpie 24/7, and I hope you had a fantastic Christmas and that Newcastle didn't manage to piss on your campfire too much, because I think that was just the appetizers. The main course is to come shortly at Newcastle at St James's Park. We're going to be taking on Liverpool shortly, and Liverpool side who maybe, just maybe, a little bit pissed after one win on against Sam Allardyce and his new employers recently. They got a 1-1 draw. We should be so lucky. We went to Manchester City, basically dropped our pants and said, how do you want us to pose? And we were well and truly dispatched in something that would make a pre-season friendly look like a highly contested Copa del Rey final, FA Cup final, you name it, Newcastle-Sunderland match. This was absolutely meek, mild, pathetic surrender from Newcastle from the first minute. Yeah, not good enough, not what we want to see. It's you know, at the end of the day, it was a lesser score than I thought. You know, I thought we could be, could be talking around about maybe the 4 or 5-0. I'm choking. It's probably Steve Bruce trying to strangle me. But yeah, I expected a good 4 or 5, to be honest. In the same way that I'm expecting 7, 8s and 9s against Liverpool. It wasn't to be. That's not to say Newcastle, made a fist of it, had a go or nothing like that. It was just the old mantra of Mike Ashley's Newcastle United, and it's basically, it's okay to lose as long as you do not lose by too many. And that was certainly the case against City. They are well-deserved winners. They never got out of first gear, but had more than enough quality to put us to the sword. An embarrassment of riches. They were able just to take the piss, bringing the likes of Aguero off the bench to come back into their team. And yeah, I mean, there were 1 or 2 little bright spots. I thought I was pleased to see Matty given, well, a typical Steve Bruce chance. Will throw you into the deep end, you'll look shit, and then everybody will think I'm such an absolute clever genius. However, everybody knows that Steve Bruce is a complete nutter fucktard, so that backfired totally. And I thought Matty wasn't bad. Yeah, he was. You could say he was sort of hands up for one of the goals potentially. But I thought he was energetic. He was busy. Him and Hayden together worked much better than seeing John Joe Shelby. And in that one appearance to date, he's done more miles. He's got through more work, more passes, more graft than what John Joe Shelby's done in the rest of the season. He obviously missing through injury, but there is rumours he's going to be back for Liverpool. Please no. There wasn't many bright sparks from the game against Manchester City, but certainly I felt that Matty was one of them. Carl Darlow obviously clearly the other as well, and that shows you what state we're in. The defensive-minded players like this are getting very honourable mentions. Miggy was, busy, but nowhere near the Miggy that he can be. Full back on either side, I thought we were shocking. We were shite. We really, really were. The only other player that I can sort of don my cap to, in my opinion, would be Jacob Murphy. I was critical of him on the Brentford game because he fluffed a couple of decent chances. He's not getting his footwork sorted and this, that and the other. But, I sent out a klaxon in the second half. When we had that shot, I was like, oh, fuck me! A shot on target. And, you got the likes of Jamie Redknapp, Carlton Cole, Cascarino, you name it, Ali McCoist, all of these things, them Geordie bastards, they're demanding Champions League. And he's me jumping up and down and like a giddy kid on Christmas Day that Newcastle had managed to have a fucking shot at target. The irony of it, of course, the absolute irony. The game, like I say, it won't live long in the memories. It won't be one that they rush out to put into DVD down at Manchester City. It was pretty trite, but they got the business done. We didn't. We got what we deserved, which was absolutely fuck all. It would have been a criminal robbery if we'd have took out of that game, because we were shite. Absolutely fucking shite. So yeah, best team won and we move on. But the more contentious issues were still the things that were literally spewing out of Steve Bruce's mouth. Clearly got the tit on with certain journalists, giving short, sharp answers. again turning on the fans. And how many times have I said this season, this man, oh, I'm one of you. So do you turn on your own? You absolutely utter piss flap. Fuck off out of our club, not having that you're one of us at all. Absolutely just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Histrionics. The reactions are too much. And then he's coming out saying, oh, my remit's to keep Newcastle in the Premier League. And it's funny that, because 2 weeks ago you were on, we want a top 10 finish, blah, blah, blah. But he just changes so much. And nowhere else was that more felt today than the striker situation. Come out after saying, well, after 18 months, we've learned that Joe Linton isn't a striker. He can't play up there by his top. Not 2 weeks ago he said that. And then what does he do today? And he wonders why fans get pissed off. Plays Joe Linton up top as a lone striker. You absolute mad bastard, just going against everything you'd previously said. And the flip-flop champion of the world, Steve Bruce, spewing his version of verbal diarrhea out left, right and centre, winding the fans up as if the fans weren't as low. I've never known fans as low and as down as this. But Steve Bruce thinks, oh, I can improve on that. I can piss them off a little bit more. I know what I can do. And goes about his merry business, embarrassing himself. This man is the biggest embarrassment and fraud since Joe Kinnear. He's as bad as Joe Kinnear. You know, it's the sort of thing where you look at him, and it got to stages with Joe Kinnear, and I was like, somebody, a family member or somebody, has to protect him from himself. He's embarrassing himself. Take him out of the firing line, and that is exactly what it is with Steve Bruce. You know, he may be this nice man that the media's portrait of him. However, he's a shit football manager. At the end of the day, you can be a nice man. That doesn't make you qualified, and it doesn't make you a right fit for our football club. Just like, and this is literally like Groundhog Day, like it wasn't at Sunderland, like it wasn't at Aston Villa. He's not the right fit. He comes up with the same old, tired, boring shit as ever that he's always come up to at the other previous clubs. When Steve Bruce fails, when Steve Bruce fucks up, his get out of jail card is to have a go at the fans. It's never his fault. He's a great manager. I mean, he couldn't get us to win the league, but you know, everybody has their limitations. Fuck me. Has Steve Bruce ever won out? Answers down below, because for me, he's a serial loser. He's just like fucking tile grout, that's all he is. Just fills in. Bit of fill around the bath. That just fills the gap in. Don't do anything of any particular use, but just fills it in. Takes another thing off the list. So yeah, Steve Bruce making excuses, Newcastle losing, and we roll on to the next match, and it's going to be a difficult one. I know Liverpool have got the injuries and stuff like that in central defence, and no doubt Klopp will complain about that, but they'll most likely have more than enough in the tank to be able to give us a game. We are expected to have one or two back for this game. Will that make a difference? Well, if the one or two you're talking about is John Joe Shelby, then no, because I made my feelings very, very clear on the Anyone for Bacon podcast that we've done recently. He's just simply just not good enough. Again, no matter how nice he might be, he's one of the highest earners at the club, and he's pretty shite. He's got no movement in him. I'm not sort of slating his professionalism or anything else like that, but what I am saying is he moves about as much as a telegraph pole. And I'm not talking on a fucking windy day, because even that would be too much of an exaggeration. The man's legs have gone. He looks like he's smoking 40 fags at a time before the match kicks off. And, you know, I just don't want to see him back in that midfield. You look at other teams who have got energy and dynamite players in there. And the little pocket rockets, and they're going all game long. And then you look at ours. It's like comparing a fucking cock end on a fucking snake and a fucking, you know what I mean? Can't get any lower than this, surely. Fucking dragging on the floor as it is, so we certainly don't need John Joe back. because he'll have 1 or 2 decent games per season where he hits an absolute thundercunt and people think, oh yeah, John. It doesn't justify the salary. It doesn't justify the shit performances for the other 30 odd games a season. You know? I know we've got an abundance of midfielders, but the midfield is the most pressing thing for this January transfer window that there can be, because we've got much of a muchness or shite. You know, to me at the moment, I would stick Matty and I'd stick Hayden as a 2, and they'd be my first choice all the time. And I'd be very reluctant to be able to change it, because looking at what else you can bring in, Jeff Hendrick just hasn't got to any sort of standards whatsoever. John Joe, I wouldn't have anywhere near the first team. I really wouldn't. And Sean isn't a fucking midfielder. He shows this time and time again. He is, and he's an attacking player. He needs to be played as a number 10. He needs to be played further up the pitch in that attacking third. He's not going to be sitting there doing a David Batty and Rob Lee job, a Speedo job. Out like that, he's just not going to do. So stop asking. It's like you're going up to a giraffe and asking it to swim, and then speaking to a fish and then asking that, you know, to go eat leaves from the top of a tree. It's absolutely and utterly fucking stupid. It's bonkers, man. Just stick to what players are good at doing. Put square pegs in square holes, as Bobby always used to say. Round pegs in round holes. Stop fucking around. Football is a simple game complicated by absolute fools. And there's no bigger fool, clown or jester in the business than Steve fucking Bruce. Stupid decision after stupid decision. So frustrating, so maddening. But yeah, it's going to be another game. We're going to lose, pretty much guarantee that one, unless there's an absolute biblical miracle. And then people will jump on the old bandwagon about Rafa and comparing him to Bruce and all this, and that's another thing that's pissing me off at the moment, to be honest, because, well, he's playing the same brand of football that Rafa was playing. No, he's not. Rafa played defensive football. We were tight, organised and had a plan. It wasn't champagne football, free-flowing football or nothing like that, but you knew he had a plan, and that gives you a little bit of hope, and you looked at his CV and you just knew and you trusted him. Bruce just plays dog shit football that you can't get behind, that's fucking turgid and just looks like he's pulled 11 people off the fucking street and says, there you go lads, no plan, no direction, no let's have a look at videos, let's dissect, let's pull this apart and see how we can exploit their weaknesses. None of that. So please, the comparisons have to stop. It's chalk and cheese, totally opposite, and there's just nobody who can convince me otherwise. If you think that Steve Bruce is better or plays the same football that Rafa does, then I just think you need to give your head a wobble. I really do, with the greatest of respect, because it's just not a thing. It's not a thing whatsoever. Anyway, we'll get to this Liverpool game. We'll get that out of the road. No doubt another loss chalked up in the loss column. And then we've just got the matter of Leicester after that. And then maybe when we're a little bit lower in the table, some of these so-called experts will stop saying, oh well, they're alright, they're well placed in the Premier League, and start realising what an absolute clusterfuck situation we are actually fucking in, because we are in the dog shit. The grass isn't always greener. Well, if you're standing in a field full of dog shit, I suggest we better get over to another field. Ashley Charlie need to discover the balls, act before it's too late, and not have a Steve McLaren 2.0 on their hands. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the rest of Christmas. Like I said, there will be another Anyone for Bacon podcast. We'll have to probably change its name very, very shortly. It took us ages to come up with that one. But yeah, straight away after the Liverpool game, there'll be another Anyone for Bacon podcast, and then we'll sum it all up, look forward to the next game, which is Leicester, and try and plot our way through this very, very, very difficult run of fixtures. And then we go into the transfer window, and will we be active in that or not? I'd take a guess and probably say most likely not, but hey ho! New year, let's hope for a Newcastle revival. Anyway, take care, keep it tuned, Apologies for all the black and white stuff, but I'm out late on a night here and I look like something out of the NWO from back in the old WCW and all that sort of thing. So, love you and leave you, keep it tuned, and I'll speak to you later.